Why did it switch back to... Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Audio's working, that's good. I hadn't plugged in the mic, but whatever. Welcome to an unboxing. One that I'm not gonna, like, you know, put too much effort into, because honestly, I'm kind of tired of unboxing more of the same printers. This is another Ender 3, right? And I specifically, I'm doing this on the second channel, which used to be very Tom channel. Like, it's not on my main channel because I'm like, well, it's another Ender 3. Like, I don't care about this printer. So yeah, second channel, another channel. Let's just jump in. Sorry about the tech difficulties there, but whatever. If you care about this printer, keep on watching. But yeah, there will be a review on this printer eventually, but I don't think it's going to be much about the printer itself. It's more going to be about, well, what are these printers? What is this absolute flood of Ender 3 lookalikes? Like, look at that. I could put an Ender 3, a Neptune 2, an actual, Ender 3 V2, whatever. This is like the same picture out of all of those. You can't even tell them apart anymore. So let's see. You got some PLA sample filament. It's fine. What are you? You look like something. Display mount, maybe? Yep, display mount. There you go, that just snaps in like that. No windows, I don't want to update right now. Bad timing. Display mount that is repositionable, not a touchscreen click wheel. I do like that. Let's see, what else? Spool mount, same old threaded spool mount, so yeah. Email notifications work on the new channel? What? I guess because it posted on the old one? Maybe? But if you were subscribed to the very Tom channel, then that works. Well. You get the x-axis. Okay, just like the Ender 3, you get the x-axis that you assemble yourself. You get a gantry profile. A gantry profile. What would that be used for? No idea. And then the bed is one of those carborundum aluminum oxide beds, essentially. Carborundum sounds cooler, obviously, but aluminum oxide. X-axis end looks just like an Ender 3 X-axis. Same old plastic extruder with a gear that doesn't. Yeah, that's not a filament drive gear. That is just a regular spur gear. Yeah, it's an Ender 3, all right. Go on. Oh, I guess I'll just take out the entire thing. There is your printer base. I just wanted to get that out of the foam. Tool heads attached to that, and there's nothing else left in here. Now, the Voxelab Aquila. This printer has been recommended to me and brought up quite a bit when I did the Neptune 2 unboxing. Everyone was like, well, you gotta check out the Voxelab Aquila because it's the best Ender 3. I'm like, well, how good can they be? Okay, screws are protruding a lot, so the bed doesn't even lay down flat. There's an air gap between the glass and the aluminum plate. That sucks. The bed is ridiculously loose. Like, I've not seen a bed that is this loose yet. I guess that's for shipping as always. Let's see if there are instructions for tightening the bed. Yeah. In the manual. If there... Oh yeah, there is something that says after sales service, not manual. We have more profiles. I didn't want to assemble this thing. I thought I'd get a printer. SD card reader, you get a belt. Is that a spare? No, that's the X-axis belt. Scraper. Wow, that's hollow. That's the cheapest one of those that I've seen. Hex keys and keys for, I guess these are for tightening down the Y-axis wheels. You get a couple of screws, 2 Bowden couplers, more aluminum profiles. Okay, there's another one. Right, so that's the vertical axis. Oh, a threaded rod. One threaded rod. So this is a single-sided drive, and it's a 4-star, so that's an 8mm pitch. 1 C-axis motor to go with that. Caution hot. Okay. Caution hot is not the logo that I expect to see on a stepper motor, but I guess it is a rather small one. You get 2 power cords. You get the UK power cord with the, well, let's see if there's a fuse in there. So this is obviously the wrong one for me. I need the Schuko connector in here. But typically, do I have a small screwdriver? No. This says fused. Let's see, is there a fuse in here? And there is something that looks like a fuse. Oh, this is an opaque one. Lead-free 13 amp. It says safe. So it must be good, right? Come on. Hello? There we go. Fuse says it's safe. And this looks like a slow blow 13 amp fuse. Lead free. BS1362. I mean, I would be shocked if this printer needs a 13 amp fuse, but alright. Standard British fuse. I am never going to need this, because I don't plan on bringing IC connected devices to the UK, so that can go right in the bin. But they do also include a standard Schuko connector, which does not have a fuse, because the fuses here live in the panel and the individual outlets are not fused. Supposedly 16 amp, but what are you? You are a 0.75 millimeter square. Yeah, and that's not a 16 amp cable, so. But it should be good enough for a 3D printer. X-axis tensioner, X-axis idler, and spool mount. All the same stuff you would expect from an Ender 3. That's an X-axis end stop, little PCB in there, standard fare. So let's do this. Let's make sure we have the power input switched to the correct voltage. By default, from what I've heard, they are switched to 230 volts because they don't blow up if you plug a 230 volt power supply into 110 or 115, and this one as well is set to 230. If you do it the other way around, then if you plug in a power supply set to 115 or 110 into a 230 volt socket, like it's gonna blow up. All right, where did the other bed clip go? It's gone. Whatever. So I mean, so far it's an Ender 3, like it's exactly what I expected. After sales service, you get a card that you fill out and then send to email to aftersales@voxelab.com. I wonder how many people actually physically fill this out and then send it as a photo or a scan as an email. Parts excluded from this warranty: build tape, build plate, acrylic cover, SD card, USB stick, USB cable, reader, card reader, filament spool, glue, resin vat, film, rinse bucket, gloves, plastic scraper, metal scraper, brush, Allen wrench, stamping wrench, tool bag, accessories. And you get a 12-month limited warranty except the extruder, and a 3-month warranty for the extruder. All right. Won't need. So let's see what we do here. Assemble the 3D printer, use the 3D printer. That is pretty tiny writing in here. Parts of the 3D printer, sure. You do not make any modifications to the device. Dress properly. Okay. Printer dimensions 220, 220, 250. It's an Ender 3. 0.4mm nozzle. Cura Simplify 3D Voxel Maker. Oh yeah, they do have their own software. Attach the ZXs with M5x45 screws. And is there an orientation to these? I don't know. Yeah, this one has the end stop mount. And this one I guess doesn't have anything on it. Yeah, it's just threaded on both sides. So let's get that going. Where are my screws? There's my screws. Oh. Nice. Those parts you're going to need in a second. That's our Z-axis mount screws, and you get 5. So I guess they're including a spare, or we're going to need this at some point in the future, and they are oily. Should grab my impact driver. So, as always, best way to mount these, end stop goes towards the outside like that. Best way to assemble these is just to let them hang over the table. And then screw them down or screw them on from below. What is that screw head? My bit doesn't fit in there. Wow, that is a terrible fit. Holy crap. Look at that. So these are Hikoki bits, and they barely fit. You can see how tight those are. Like a hex head shouldn't be that tight, and these barely fit in there. Oh, God. So I guess next one. And the end stop side goes towards the outside here. The Anycubic Viper, although Ender 3 is supposed to be pretty good, well, that's what they said about the Aquila. I mean, wow, it's so tight. It's holding my drill. The thing about these Ender 3 and Ender 3 clones, lookalikes, whatever, is like they're all pretty good. Like the Ender 3 isn't bad. They're just like they're not great either. They're perfectly adequate, mediocre printers. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just nothing special. Yeah, that's Rushme 3D. That's the exact problem we're having. It's like you've got the towers swapped. Oh, cool. Well, thanks for that. Do have the orientation correct for the end stop though. Come on. It's like for like 4 years we've been having Ender 3s. And like this is the like 50th Ender 3 that's been put onto the market, and it's still the same machine. There's nothing that's been changed. Sure, it's got a nice screen now, but that's a facelift at best. So that one goes on like this. Major extrusion problems, but other than that, it's been pretty good. Well, okay. We're at the point where the cheap printers don't have A498s anymore. Well, don't know about this one. I'll have to check what's actually driving this. Josh, do you think there's much space left in the bed slinger space? Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I mean, if you... I guess we're running into, like, kinematics limits, where that big frontier of speed is not going to happen without input shaping, but yeah, just look at usability and just integration of the toolchain. Look at what Prusa is doing and how no other manufacturer is managing to provide that same user experience. Oh, those cables are right in front of the power cord. Wow. That's fantastic. Right in front of the power switch. Like, I don't see that going wrong. Yeah, there's not. I mean, no, I don't have the Prusa behind me, but from a mechanical standpoint, like you build. Wow, that frame is warped. But it's okay. It's sitting on a cable. Better. From a mechanical standpoint, like, there's not really anything left to improve here. You've got your motors, you've got your belts, you've got your drives. Like, hey, yeah, of course you can put a linear res in here, but in the end it's still going to be the same printer. But just from a usability standpoint, right? Hey Joe. From a usability standpoint, it's like it would be so easy. Like, just focus on doing one printer well instead of pushing 50 onto the, or I don't know, one manufacturer created, instead of pushing 5 of essentially the same printer onto the market. It's like, come on. But I guess this is what sells. This is what you can just build in volume. So I mean, Joe, like, don't waste your time watching another Ender 3 assembly. I'm sure you've seen them before. Okay, Z-axis is on. Z-axis motor, same bracket, same little plastic bracket. Goes on to... make sure I actually get this one oriented correctly. Goes on to this side, and then we have the lead screw that follows through on that. How can I... following manuals, yeah. I mean, you could build this one with any manual. I could pull out the manual from the Neptune 2 and it would build the same printer. M4 by 20, M4 by 20. And I guess we also use the 2 hammer nuts that we got included. Yeah, Joe, by the way, you guys surely are working on something. I feel like there's something coming out this year before Christmas. If you do have something that you can show, like, I'm happy to sign an NDA and get an early peek. Just, like, hit me up. Just saying. Now where to put my tools? So this one's kind of hard to install because, like, you can't get the screw in. Look at that. You can't physically get the screw in because it's banging against it. It's blocked by the coupler. Like, you can't actually. It doesn't go in the hole. You have to screw it past the coupler. Isn't that fantastic design? Come on. Now it's scraping on the motor. There we go. Oh, okay. So these are threaded. I was gonna say like where does the where do the hammer nuts go? But nope, it's already threaded in the frame, so no hammer nuts needed. Yeah, I just gave Domenico mod rights because I know the guy, at least. Well, I don't know the guy, but I know the guy enough to trust that he's gonna not do any funky business with those mod rights. And it's always nice to have some mods around. Since when has there been a second channel? Well, I've always had like second channels on the back burner. In fact, this channel, like the more layers channel, the same. I used to have a channel with the same concept. What was it called? Tom's 3 Live, I think. That is now the Melt Zone channel. Because, well, I already had a channel, it already had monetization enabled, and I thought the audience was alright. This one used to be very Tom, which was my like, hey, let's just upload some time lapses that that I did of the stars. Those are still up. Those are unlisted. So if somebody finds those, I think I posted them on Twitter at some point. Yeah, but that's this channel. So I've always had more than one channel. I've just not been using them, and you can rename them and repurpose them whenever you want. So yeah, but this is the first piece of content that I'm actually uploading onto this channel, because eventually eventually I do want to separate the more polished, more scripted videos onto the main channel, and then have just like casual stuff on this other channel where where I don't have to stress myself about doing a live stream, because live streams when I do them on the main channel, they are stressful. Like they wear me out. I stress about them the whole day, and then at night it's like, wow, I need some recovery time now. Even if it's just 3 hours, but it's 3 hours of high performance streaming. So I mean, just like the same way, or the same premise that we started the Melt Zone with, you know, being a lower, not lower pitch, lower RPM, lower speed, non-stressed experience, basically. That was the idea behind the Melt Zone, and I needed something like that for my main YouTube stuff. No, don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's not in there on purpose at all. No. No. Here. No. Okay, so we've got the Z-axis lead screw installed. Install the pneumatic joint, XE axis kit, and synchronous belt. So I guess we assemble the X-axis now. So we have, that is an interesting shaped counterbore. Don't know how they do that without a like counter tapered bit. Interesting. Basically you go, so we need you, the motorized X end with the, these are some tiny motors, by the way, with the X-axis motor with the, oh, that's pressed on. Wow. Is that a steel pulley? Yeah, that's a steel pulley. Or at least steel flanders, it looks like. Don't know if the center is just a dark bronze anodized aluminum look, but like that's... Oh, I should turn on... Hold on, I'm going to turn on the second light. There we go. And then you can go up a bit brighter. So maybe that's a bit more visible? Not really. But that looks like a steel pulley, and it's just pressed onto the shaft. There's no set screw or anything, which is good because it can't really come loose, but also, okay, there you can see the color of that. But also it's not really replaceable. You'd have to replace the motor with it, which isn't a huge deal. Like, those motors are super cheap, but interesting to see the cost down measures they're taking with these machines now. So let me just try and make sure I get this right. That's the top bracket with a top rail. Okay, you go here, you go there, so you slide over this. And this is symmetric. Okay, so both sides are both sides look like they have the same machining. Huh, interesting. So either that is on purpose. Tighten the tube connected by open end wrench. Okay. And we need 5 by 14. Okay, now these are M5s. The last time I was screwing into a rail, it was M4 with the extruder. Interesting. M5 by 20? No, by 14. There you go. Should have grabbed a... Oh, I do have... Yeah, I do have a vise here. That's better. Makes working on these so much easier. But live streaming is real time, it's easy. Well, you know, animations creations 42. The thing is, when you're stressing yourself out about, hey, what is the pacing like on this stream? Like, am I entertaining viewers? Am I making sure the tech is right, the lighting's good? What is happening in chat? Am I doing something wrong? And on top of that, you also have to focus on actually building something, like assembling a printer or doing some sort of a project. That is quite taxing. I mean, I do envy like game streamers that literally have a game running in the foreground, in the background, whatever, that entertains viewers. Like just having a game, just playing the game, that is enough to keep viewers like somewhat engaged. But when you're the only thing in front of the camera doing stuff, like that is, you know, everything's on you. So yeah, that's a bit of a different situation. I mean, live streaming is nice because it's for the interaction, right? That's what I do like it for. There's no other formats that I do get real time. What's the latency right now? 2 seconds, where I get that sort of real time feedback. Pneumatic coupler. These are M6, okay. So not the imperial size, 1/8 inch or 1/8 inch size or whatever. And that goes in here. So threaded insert. Just screws in like that. My disdain for Ender 3 clones is entertaining. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not that it's not that I don't like these machines. It's I don't like manufacturers making more of these machines because we've had them all. That's that. I can already see like this is going to be the typical Ender 3 clone pain point, where you have your lead screw coming through right here, and that's where you're supposed to feed in the filament. So whenever you feed in filament, like your fingers are gonna bang into. Let me grab a zip tie to demonstrate. You try and feed that in here. That's going to be a tight spot for your fingers. You can't really guide it in all the way. Either you're going to get your fingers greasy, or you can only guide it from like up here. So some printers do that differently by moving the extruder further back or further in, just to give you a bit of extra space. And this one doesn't. Okay, so we've done that. We've done the 2 screws. Why are you out of focus there? That should be better. We've done the 2 screws, we've done the bone coupler, X-axis kit, extruder kit, Z-axis passive block, and another 5x14. So this side is up. I guess we can untwist it. This side is up, that side is like that. That side is like that. So this goes like that. And this one is... Oh, this one's actually adjusted really well. Yeah. This one is adjusted pretty well. Runs smoothly. That's good. Passive block. This guy. And the belt, does the belt need... The red line means the synchronous belt. I guess we can install the belt. Yeah, we don't have to install it right now. We can do the X end first. So that goes on like this. Yeah. And then 2 more of these screws. Also, the word out there is that 100% of those extruders break on these. Well, how quickly do they break? Do they break in time for a reviewer to find it, or do they break like 2 spools in? Because I guarantee that nobody who's reviewing these professionally is actually printing more than 2 spools out of them. Because, you know, I have half a dozen printers that are exactly like this, and there's no point in running these more than absolutely necessary, wasting any filament on them. That screw head as well, I can't get my hex key in here. So this one, just fine. Also, these are made of butter. This one, can't even, like, this is just... I can't even screw these down. Let's use... Yeah, nope, that does not fit in. Cabling in the way, but look at that. So this screw right here, that's the other one, fine, fits in. You see how far that key goes in. This screw over here doesn't drop in. Does not drop in. I physically can't screw that down. Hold on, I do have a tool here that can help us with that. There we go. Better. Use a Torx bit? Oh yeah, I heard people on Twitter do like that. Oh, hey camera autofocus. I do like hammer too. Hammer is good. 10 to 20 prints for the Friends extruder to start grinding filament. Well, is it what was breaking on it? Was the was the drive gear just wearing down? Because this is a fairly fine-toothed gear, and I can see these just wearing down. It's brass, so... And it doesn't have a lot of profile to start with. It might just be that there's shavings getting in there, which is why a proper profile on these is so important. If they aren't grabbing perfectly, you don't want them to grind and eventually clog up. It was not able to grab the filament well. That sounds like it would have dulled. So, belt. You get the classic crimps on the ends, which I'm sure is not how you're supposed to use these belts, but it's how they are being used, so. Well, we also need a belt idler somewhere, I would assume. Oh, can I feed this through? No, I can't. Okay. Because it has the crimp on here, it doesn't fit on. Oh, well, but it. No, because the screw head is too long, I can't actually take it off anymore. You do have to feed the belt first. So you go under here. Nope, you go in here first. Oh, I guess I can just do that, yeah. And I can pull you around. Oh no, but now it's under that wheel. Oh crap. So I can't do that. But I can do that. There we go. Will this one have an on-parallel belt too? I will check on that. The manual looks like it's saying it's going to be perfectly parallel, but it's one of those things that were solved like so long ago. Which way does this go on? How does? Oh yeah, it goes over this, right? We'll check on the y-axis. The y-axis looks good. So the y-axis, from what I can tell on the bed there, it looks good. It looks very parallel. Oh, it's a new screw. Okay, that one's better. Oh yeah, by the way, these screws are labeled 12.9. Yeah, what a... Sure, these are 12.9 screws. Absolutely. Yeah. What I do? That's screwed down. Okay, so we need the... Okay, that's getting clamped in here, so we don't need the second screw anyways. We need an we need two M5x14s. And then for the cover on the back, M4x8. So you come back out. So which side goes forward? This is asymmetrical. Has one side where the bearing's closer to the side than the other. It doesn't have any distinct features on the outside that would allow me to see how it's oriented. This is telling me to disassemble it anyways. And now this thing looks, well, it has the insert on one side, the screw on the other side, but otherwise it's symmetrical. So I guess we're gonna find out. There's no information on how this is gonna be oriented, so. Yeah, that's wrong. That is way wrong, but I can see people assembling it like that. So there. there. You can kind of see how the belt path is being like pushed over to one side here. If you assemble it like that, that looks like it's completely out of center. So you do need to. There we go. Oh, that's centered. Well, that's something you have to figure out yourself. There you go. It looks better. 4 screws to build. Yeah, we're not cloning an Ender 3 down to the T printers. Those often come with pre-built gantries, and I don't see why they're not doing this on these printers as well, because like there's no reason why you need to assemble this yourself. It takes up the same space in shipping, or even the entire Z-axis, like the same space for shipping. Labor is cheap. They've already got the line set up. It removes potential errors from the customer side. Like I don't see why they don't do that. I guess it's like for the gratification of, oh yeah, I built this printer, but really you did like 5% of what a printer assembly is. I don't know. And the belt path is crooked. So there is that. That's a bit hard to see, isn't it? Yeah, you can see how the belt path rises up there and then dips down all the way down there, which means in the center it has the lowest belt tension, and then as you move towards the edge, you actually increase the belt tension. It's not, I mean, it's not super bad, but it's like, it's wrong. So yeah, it's just bad engineering. And on the other side, it's a bit better because the idler is a larger bearing. Doesn't matter on the bottom, like as long as there's enough space and enough clearance, like that's fine. But on the top, this side is fine. So it's just over here. Yeah, you can clearly see that is not a straight belt path. Okay. Cool. Issues from 10 years ago. Wow. So we've got that assembled. Lock the X-axis limit assembly. So end stop. I mean, they are getting cheaper though, right? What is this? 180 bucks. It's all injection molded. It's all, the parts quality is good. It's just the engineering behind it isn't that great. End stop cover, can we still get to the connector? Yes, because there's a little cutout. That's good. M4 by what? M4 by 8. It's not these, but no M4 by 8 screws. Nope. Oh, there they are. There they are. Hexagon socket head spring Voxelab combination screw. It's freaking. Is that a hexagon socket head spring Voxelab combination screw? Like that's a regular socket head screw. No spring wash or anything in here. It's just cap head screw. Stainless, looks like. Oh no, it's a 12.9. Sure. Yeah, so that wouldn't be stainless. Feels like aluminum. Kind of light. That goes on here. At least the head is well sized on these. Cool, that's on here, that's on here. We got the tensioner, we got the switch. That's the switch contact. Yep. So there's even a little lip right there that's protruding to touch the switch. There's two threaded M3 holes, or what looks like M3 in the front here. So I guess that's for attaching a sensor, because this thing does not have any sort of auto bed leveling. I'm looking, is there like a load cell leveling? Does not look like it. Single part cooling fan, pretty standard fare. But I guess that's for attaching stuff to the side there. Install the Z-axis moving kit and adjust the tightness of X-axis and X-axis tensioner. So I already did the belt. The belt is good. Manually rotate the X-axis and Y-axis tensioners to the appropriate tightness. Okay. So this just plonks on like that. Wouldn't be the first time I've installed these upside down. Yeah, it actually goes through here. And that's the lead screw. And how is tension? Tension feels about right. So this side is a lot tighter than the other. This one could use a bit of extra tension. Let's see if they tell us to adjust those. Wiring a stacked dual core XY with color sensitive filament. Have I seen that on Twitter, Daniel? I've seen someone do like a double core XY. Was that you? Gantry profile, top profile. Okay, well that's easy. That's easy, he said. And we're using M5 by 25s. Wrong bit. Where did my... There's my other bit. Not yet. Okay, I saw someone doing something like that. Yeah. Steel touch port on the board. Yeah, we're gonna have a quick look at the board in a second. How parallel are these Z-axis extrusions? Well, well, actually it feels pretty good. If I can take for granted that this top rail is cut to the same length as whatever is supporting the bottom, if the dimensions are correct, then these are... It looks like this one's a bit pushed inward, but otherwise that should be pretty good. Domenico, well, the Bosch Go is... It's all right. Like it's on the table here with me. I do have a bit of a problem with it. It's fine. It's all right. It's okay, right? It's not too bad. But the thing is, this button. Oh, it's out of battery. Okay, so I can't actually show you. But battery also doesn't last very long. Well, obviously these do last a lot longer, but battery is surprisingly quick to die. This button, on-off button, that's the one you can use to manually get it. Oh no, hold on, I have to actually select the direction. There we go. This is extremely light on the touch. So just by like handling the thing, it keeps turning on, and if you try and screw something in and you accidentally touch the button, this slips off your screw head quite easily. And then it's also got the push trigger as you push it into the screw, and that one is also kind of finicky. It's easy to, you have to push quite hard to activate it, but then very often it stops by itself. So it will, I think it detects that the screw isn't now properly screwed in or it's loose. I think it's got shutoffs in both directions. So once it detects that there's no torque anymore, and once it detects that the clutch is slipping, and on those two occasions it stops. So very often I'll push this in and it'll screw something down without pushing the button. It'll screw something down and then at some point it just stops. So other than, you know, actually driving screws, this thing is actually pretty good. I still wish my 12-volt Bosch wasn't broken. And I don't want to buy another one because those kept breaking. And I'm not going to buy tools that last for 2.5 years and then die. Yeah, I've also got the Ryobi that I've used in the past that I've got yelled at for building the Voron. And this one's okay, but this one is huge compared to the small Bosch. This one is huge and has a brushed motor, and you can. It's just not. It's not very smooth. It's all right too. You know, very all right tools, but I'm not excited over having them. Not excited about using them. Okay, so we've got the top rail installed. Okay, gantry profile. What? Oh. Okay, so there's instructions for how to tighten down a hammer nut. So make sure it actually flips in the slot. And then the screen goes front right, it looks like. So here. And we've got the screen and the screen mount kit. 2 separate parts, so you can take out your CNC control panel and well, actually hold it right side up and do your stuff. And then once you're done, you can, you know, plop it back in here and it's stored. I don't know how much you actually can do that, but it's an option. Yeah, the thing with these drivers is so also, yeah, on the Bosch Go, I wish it had proportional control. Like it had some way of adjusting the RPM, because as is, it's just go or don't go. Because the Bosch Go, it doesn't have half go. Whereas, you know, something like an actual driver, you can really find, that's on second gear, by the way. You can like really finely control how much torque you want and how much speed you want. And on Bosch, you basically you rely on the clutch to make sure you don't overdrive screws. So you do have to trust that. Thankfully, the clutch is pretty good on that. But yeah, it makes for some unintentionally fast screw driving at times. All right. So the way these hammer nuts I found you can tighten them fairly reliably is you actually reverse for a while until you can actually hear the threads coming completely out of the hammer nut. Don't let go because you're going to lose your hammer nut. So keep pushing into that and then push in, keep pushing in, and then tighten it down. And that is now fully locked in. So for me, back to cordless drivers. For me, I think what I'll do is I'll get a small battery for these. So that's the 5 amp hour 18 volt battery. These are fairly compact, especially you can get these without the chuck, just with a bit driver. And then the tool head itself and everything else around it, well, the tool head itself especially, that's the important part. This is going to be about as small as the 12 volt Bosch driver. So just get a small battery, get like a 2 amp hour or 3 amp hour, which is, what is this, 5 cells, 5S2P. So that would be 5S1P. Get a small battery with those. And then it's basically going to be that tool that I want. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Might be a bit too much torque, but whatever. Yeah, I do like to give tips for nutting properly. You're welcome, random nerd. So that goes on here. And then to pull it out, you can actually just pull it out. It doesn't snap in and require you to break the tabs. Animation Creations, I have not tried the current Makita 12-volt range. I have, so when I got my first set of drivers, cordless drivers, I wanted a compact tool. I always like compact tools over like ones that are a bit bulkier. These have become a lot smaller than they started out with. So I tried the back then 12-volt Makita range and the Bosch range, and the Makitas were pretty good too. They were the ones that had the battery in the grip. But the Makitas were just not made very well. They didn't feel like a proper quality tool. These are a lot nicer, and comparing them to the Bosch at the time, the Bosch were just the, much better choice. I think I even had the Stormtrooper combination of the black and white, where the body they had white body Makitas for a while. Yeah, and those just didn't feel properly nice. So I went with the Bosch. The current Makita 12-volt range has this style of like slide-in batteries. So they are different drivers, and they do, they do refresh the drivers over time. So the drivers that you were able to buy like 10 years ago are not the same ones, even if it's still like a 12-volt driver with a chuck. It's not going to be the same tool, but they do have a totally different battery system now. Might be an option, but I've already got the 18-volt tools, and I think like getting a small battery and then just using the larger tools with a small battery is pretty much going to give me the same thing, I think. I don't know. Right, so we've nutted in the screen mount. That is all attached. That's good. Install the gantry profile display kit. That step is done. Starting to look like a print. I mean, so far this wasn't that bad, right? We're on 1 hour exactly. It's all right. Spool mount. And 4x6. Do we need the spool? Well, let's just attach the spool mount. It's part of the printer. Two hammerhead nuts and where's my spool mount? Same folded steel, bent steel mount. Not going to be able to assemble this one with a driver because it is a straight mount. Typically these are a bit angled back. Yeah, the Animation Creations, you're right, 12-volt tools are basically sufficient for everything. I've used the Bosch 12-volt tools for so long, and I've never needed anything more powerful. It's just that all my Bosch 12-volt tools were starting to break. And wait, so you install this backwards and on the left. Okay, all my Bosch 12-volt tools were starting to break, and I needed something else. And I also, at the time, I also needed a cordless angle grinder because I was installing more solar panels on the roof, and you need that to do the cutouts on your roof tiles. Don't want to run around with a corded angle grinder on the roof, absolutely not. And so you know, I got the 18-volt Makita kit with that, and at that point I was like, well, I've already, you know how it is, you know, once you've got one battery system, it's like, do I really get another one? And yeah, I also got the impact driver, the regular corded driver, skill saw. What else? Vacuum, yes, like handheld vacuum cleaner. That's, I mean, it's not very good, but whatever. So I'm already invested in the 18-volt Makita system, and I think I don't want to like add another system on top of that. Yeah. This is overkill. Like, these things have so much power. Angle grinder, just like a corded one. 18-volt driver, like, this is the size that, you know, just big enough that you can still do it or handle it with one hand. Any bigger than this, and they do make 18-volt drivers that have the side handle, because you're literally going to break your wrist if this gets caught. Right. Yeah, and I was like, well, if I'm going to buy tools now, And these are probably going to be the tools. If they don't break, I'm going to have for the rest of my life. So better get something proper. So basically, we're attaching the Bowden tube. So this is already attached. That just clips in here. That's as far as that goes. So this is the typical. So I can already see the red Hotend in here. So that's going to be your typical Creality style Hotend, where the Bowden tube actually goes all the way down to the nozzle, which tends to cause some issues. By the way, who was saying they were having issues with the? Oh God, where is it? Somebody was saying they were having issues with this printer. Yeah, Benjamin. That might have actually been it, that the Hotend got clogged on these, because it's not like it stops extruding. Well, sometimes it does, but very often it just creates more back pressure against the extruder, and then it looks like the extruder is skipping. That's the symptom you're seeing, but the actual cause is the Hotend that's failing. Like, it's not going to be clogged, but it's just going to be restricted from this PTFE kind of bending inwards and degrading. Put the indication knob on the motor shaft and then place a 2020 profile cover on both sides. Put the indication knob on the motor shaft. What indication knob? The indication knob on the motor shaft. Oh, are they talking about the line claw? Yeah, Benjamin, cold pull isn't going to do anything for that. Cleaning the nozzle, also not going to do anything for that. What you need to do is actually take out the Bowden tube completely, take out the nozzle, then, wow, these are tight. Take out the Bowden tube completely, take out the nozzle, snip off or cut off a bit of the Bowden tube, install it, insert that completely, just so that you have like half a turn on the nozzle left, so that it's already touching the nozzle, and then clip it down and install the nozzle, so you're compressing the Bowden tube ever so slightly. You don't, not too much, just compress it ever so slightly inside the Hotend. That might be the solution there. How tightly is the Bowden connected in the coupler? Does it slip? So I've added the Bowden, hold up, whoa, nope, wow, whoa. Press the right buttons, yeah. There we go. So I did put the line claw onto that coupler, which is extremely tight. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit one in here. These are spring-loaded, so should be good. How tight is this? How tight is this grabbing? Well, I can't pull it out, so I guess that's going to be sufficient. I guess I do want to put the little clip on this one as well, but how do I get this cover off? Okay, there's 2 screws in the back here, so let me try and get this off. That's Phillips 1 screws. Actually, does the manual say? Whatever. Let's just have a look. We do want to have a look underneath the fan shroud and the Hotend cover anyways, right? Does that have like a clip point or something? There we go. So, what do we get? We get the Creality Hotend, the Creality style Hotend. Yeah. That's the Hotend. So, same, you do get a sock, which is nice. That all looks about right. I can already see Teflon insulation on the thermistor, so obviously with the Teflon going all the way down into the heater block, you can see how thick that. Oh, you can't. You can see how thick that heat break is. That is an indicator that this Bowden tube is going all the way through to down here. Yeah, you get the same screw support. Thermistor with Bowden, with thermistor with Teflon insulation on the side. So yeah, with the. Why is this so off center? Just noticing that, like that's like completely off center. And is it straight? No, it is way crooked. Like this is installed completely crooked. Wow. Okay. So this just goes on here way off center as well, and then it just looks like it's. Yeah, it looks like it has a bit of extra space on the side, but really this is just off to the side. Interesting. Which fan did they use in the front of the Hotend? Okay. What's the big hammer for? Well, just in case, it's just a regular 350-gram hammer. You know, nothing special. They are using... What are we? So the part cooling fan is a EFS 04D24L. This guy on the side. EFS-04D24L. And then the Hotend cooling for... Wait, what? The Hotend cooling fan has the exact same part number, but it's a completely different fan. Wow! So both the axial, this is, what is this, a 40mm fan? Both the axial, this is labeled 4010. This has a label for the 04D24L, as well as this other guy, this radio fan, is also labeled EFS 04D24L. So, interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, 40 by 10mm fan on the side, 24 volt, and 4010 radio fan on the part cooling side. Let me get this back in like that. They said any specs about voltage? Yeah, 24 volt, 0.1 amps. That's what they say. But since both of the fans have the same label but are different types, like I wouldn't necessarily trust that label all that much. But they're standard 24 volt fans. Okay, I'm gonna put that screw back in there on that side, but that's not really grabbing into anything. It's just decoration, it looks like. Oh, I wanted to put the clip on. Oh, whatever. Not that it's gonna make any difference. But we do have, of course, we do have to put the spool mount on. Where did I put the spool mount? Anybody see the spool mount? Oh, there it is. So, same toilet roll holder as you always get. There we go. Okay, connect stuff. Basically plug stuff in where it fits. Can we get a tree frog? Let's see, maybe. What are you? You are Z. You're the Z end stop, okay. Z end stop, you are also Z, but you are the Z motor. These are interesting labels. These are like elastic, rubbery orange labels that they're putting on these. I know them as being like hard plastic ones, but I don't think I've ever seen them as like super elastic rubbery ones. What is the best temperature for cold pull with PLA? I don't usually do cold pulls with PLA. I usually use nylon for that, because with PLA I can't seem to get that temperature right, like you're referring. It's you either melt the filament and it doesn't actually cold pull, or you don't pull it, you just snap it off. So there's I found cold pulls very hard with just PLA, so I always grab a bit of Tallman Bridge is what I usually go to, and then I'll let it I'll melt it through. I'll make sure it comes out the nozzle as much as it can, and I'll let it cool off completely, and then I'll turn on the temperature again and wait for it to rise to like 60-70 degrees, and at that point you can start pulling on the filament out of the hot end, and at some point it will release. It will release once it is at that perfect temperature for doing a cold pull. Wow. So let's see, that's connected, that's connected, that's connected, that is already connected. Bed leveling. Oh, please confirm the steadiness of the build plate. Okay, I have confirmed the steadiness of the build plate. It is not steady. Please adjust the left V wheel via the open end wrench to make the build plate slide smoothly without shaking. All right. The left. So there are two wheels on this left side. And I can't really show you much about it because it's like under here. But what I usually do is, turn these clockwise. They're not telling you to lock them again. So it's just it's a lock nut up top. And these are loose enough that probably they're going to loosen up in a while. So yeah, it'll do for now, but after like 2 spools, this will be loose again, and you're going to have to readjust these or at some point actually tighten them down. But can you actually get to them? Yeah, you can get to the screws to tighten them down. And the other side of the wrench is, yeah, it is the correct size. It is the correct size for tightening down these wheels, but DUI information actual might be different. Yeah, they're not telling you to do it anyways. So about that thing with these screws. So let's use this included on rounded edges. That's nice. These are sticking up. These should not stick up. Same over here. Same back here. That's not good. That's going to give you a... How much is that? 0.5 millimeter? It's going to give you an air gap between the aluminum plate and the glass. So you can clip that down as hard as you want. It's never going to transfer heat properly. Glass is always a problem with heat transfer. I've done the thermal imaging once, and it's always, glass beds have always been, especially sensitive to being blown over by a part cooling fan, or by having air blown over them. You're not going to blow over the bed, but ooh. How close are you to the edge, to the actual traces? Glass beds always add, it is an insulating layer you add, right? So let me just check, how close are these metal clips to the traces? Yep, they're overlapping the traces. So these will probably short out the traces at some point. So, get you a closer view of these. Maybe there you go. There's a bit of a view of the actual conductive traces. This is not 230 volts. This is 24 volts, thankfully. But if you put these on like that, you can see that solidly overlaps the traces, and if you put these on a couple of times, if you remove that a couple of times, you're going to be rubbing through them, and you will solidly short out one section of the bed. Like it's not gonna cause a fire or anything, I think, but you'll lose heating in that area. You might not even notice it because it's an aluminum PCB, but yeah, it's certainly not a great design choice. I guess we do need to plug in the bed still. So one goes up front here, something like that. Clips are meant to be on the side. I think they were in front and back. Yeah, no. Clips are meant to be at the front and back, as far as I can see. Let's see what it's like on the side. On the side, it's the same distance. Like it's still gonna short stuff out. It's not gonna like bridge anything, from what I can see, but yeah, you still might short out a couple of traces. On the back here, there's some Kapton tape with a thermistor glued down. What the? Are they actually just taping the thermistor onto the bed? Like, why are they not soldering it? Wow, that is quite the jank fest. The remainder of the PCB will get hotter in turn. Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, you might not even notice. Where are you coming out? You're coming out the front. So long. Sorry about that. Long bed cable, so you can actually take that off and then you clip it in, something like that. And then that's just hanging out the front. Or you can poke that in there. We're at the point where the manual's like, well, you're good to go now. You can do bed leveling and preheat and load some filament, and we can figure that out. What's the software you're supposed to use? That is Voxelmaker. So I guess we should try that. I do want to have a look at the electronics. So it says it's an Aquila mainboard with an STM32F1 on it. Filament sensor port. Extruder sensor port. Okay, BL touch port. Oh, looks like it's got the BL touch wiring on there. I can't tell what drivers these are. Looks like it's a Trinamic logo, but there's only one way to find out. And that is by opening up this perfectly good, brand new, never before used printer. Because that's what we do here. That looks like there's stuff underneath here. So power supply all encased. It's in a, so input wiring goes over here, and then you've got your standard power supply in here. I can't tell what that is. And then I guess if you put this on the back, yeah, that's gonna be a better angle to open this up. Okay, wow, this screw is absolutely massacred already. You do get the matching hex keys though. So let's take out this 12.9 screw. 12.9 or something. Oh no, these are only 10.9s. Okay. Right. These aren't even the higher quality ones. Let me get does that focus. How close can we go? Yeah, there's the 10.9 upside down. Not sure if you can see that. Only the highest quality screws, 10.9s, of course. Because that's what you need to hold on a little cover onto the bottom of a 3D printer. How are you being held in? I really need to undo this one screw at the top. Looks like it. Yep, that's the cover. And I'm just going to leave that off because, you know, why not? So there is a little fan that is connected in here. Oh, it's another EFS 04D24L. Who would have thought? It's the exact same fan as on the Hotend. It's got little heat sinks on the drivers. So can we pop those? Oh yeah, those are attached with snot. So they are super easy to pull off. There we go. And that is, wow, I can't even read what that is. Fascinating. Let me just pull that fan out. There we go. This is, let me take my glasses off for this. Somebody can probably Google this because I don't know what type this is. It looks like it's some sort of a trinamic clone. It is a MS 35775. I repeat, MS 35775. And then second line is JE0HS2. Perhaps I can get a photograph of that. I'm not sure how much this pixel camera is going to be able to zoom in. Which my glasses and stuff. Flash on. I mean, this digital zoom on this camera is pretty good, but it does not have any real zoom lens. That's not really gonna show. That is gonna show though. So that is the type of driver that they're using. Pixel 5. Very happy with it. That's the driver. Does somebody want to look that up, or do I have to look that up myself? TMC 2208 compatible. Okay, so it is literally a TMC 2208 clone. All right. And they, ooh, why is there an aluminum shaving stuck in this heatsink? Good thing I pulled that off. Like, that is a literal piece of aluminum shaving that's in there. That's not going to cause a short or anything, right? That's fine. Wow. I don't want to break this thing on purpose, but I'm just trying to pull off as much as possible there, but that was literally stuck on the heatsink. Like, I'm surprised that got through testing somehow, and it didn't blow up during testing. Cool. Improves thermal conductivity? Yeah, sure. Let's see. We do have the STM32F103. Couple logic components, 3.3 volt regulator. Anything else I can find? Yep, the CH340G USB to serial converter. Couple MOSFETs on the heatsinks. You can see the heatsinks right there. I don't like seeing heatsinks on MOSFETs, because if you need a heatsink on a MOSFET, you are doing something seriously wrong. A MOSFET should never need a heatsink. Did it say MOSFETs on heatsinks? Heatsinks on MOSFETs. Yeah, so that's probably like budget grade. There's like a little integrated buck converter, looks like. There's a fuse on the board. Okay, that's nice, but that is only for, that's a 15 amp fuse. It's a 15 amp micro fuse. The wiring looks, well, the wiring looks alright for bed wiring and stuff. Where does the power come in though? Where does the, okay, That's going to be power in. Can I zoom in some more? Yeah. So that down there is got to be power in. I've got the fuse right next to it. And then that looks like it's fan switched. So part cooling, I assume. Then you've got the two thicker, feels like either like very soft PVC or silicone wire for the bed. And then the two textile covered wires for the Hotend. So, I mean, so far so good, I guess. Nothing wrong that I can see except for heat sinks on the MOSFETs, but very simple board. Like absolutely just the bare minimum of what you need. There is, of course, the micro SD slot. There is that PL Touch clone that was mentioned. Silk, interesting. Port labeled silk, whatever that is. It looks all right. It looks all right. I've seen worse. It's not like a board that I would, you know, that I would intentionally choose, but you know, for a budget printer, it's all right. It's okay. Oh yeah, and of course you do have the fan blowing over everything, so yeah. I guess I am spoiled from using Do It, where it's like, well, you can drive these motors at 2 amps all day. Now, of course you're not going to need a heatsink. Of course you're not going to need a fan. Like, why would you need a fan? Come on. Yeah, you got to remember this is a way different price point. So some things you can forgive. Yeah, Dominica, so I went for the 5 because what was the reason? I wanted the smaller size. I needed, what was the thing with the smaller 4A? Oh yeah, cameras. The 4A doesn't have the wide angle camera. The 4A 5G is too large for me. As are all of the OnePlus phones. Like I was using a Poco F2 Pro before that. And that literally gave me pain in my pinky because I'd have to hold the phone like on my pinky like that because like my fingers are fairly small. You can see like how little reach I have on that screen if I hold it like that. So I do have to support it like that, and then even, you know, the Poco was a dual hand phone for me, but I'd still have to hold it somehow, and it was giving me physical pain to use that phone. So I had to switch. I went for something that is a good size, Pixel 5, great size. What is that? 6.6 inch, 6.2 inch. Great phone. Could be a bit cheaper, but I mean it's well made. Software is great, and it is well worth what they are charging for it. Especially, you know, I've had Xiaomi phones, and there's just always been something that would go wrong with them. You know, what was it? I had the 9T as in the letter T, and that just stopped working one day. I've been using that for 5.5 months, and it was just dead. Like, I was using it, and it's just like from one moment to the next, nothing worked. Literally, completely dead. So I was like, well, I'll give this one more try. And the Poco F2 it was causing me physical pain. So that was my, you know, the end of my I'll just buy a cheap phone story. So yeah. Okay, so we do have this thing. Oh, bed leveling. Yeah, I guess we do get to plug it in. Let's just grab a random power cord. That's Ethernet. That's not going to do much good. This one looks about right. 6 phones on your desk and 1 buzzed. Well, too bad. Should have gotten some with notification LEDs. So that's in. I don't like that this is. Like, I do not like this. Let me show you. So that is the IEC connector right here. That's where it's plugged in. That's the main power switch, and this is the cable bundle. It's zip tied in the bottom, so it is in the spot that they're intending it to be. Like as the bed moves, Like, first of all, that's a king spot if I ever did see one. Yeah, they've got the shrink wrap on it there, but right after the shrink wrap, of course, because there's no physical support, that's where it kinks. That's where it's gonna break. That's where it's gonna cause a fire. But also, it's the IEC connector that's catching this. So over time, I feel like this would work loose that connector. So yeah, not a fan of that. Well, I guess it's fine. I mean, they do have the strain relief on the bed, straight out of the Ender 3. Like, that's got to be a positive feature. Well, nope. Yeah. Also, like, I don't think this would be an issue, but if you want to quickly hit the power off, like, you can't. You can't quickly turn this off. It is blocked by wires. Okay. Let's see. That's a nice screen. That is a really bright, really nice screen. So typically you have rather dim screens on printers. It is at a bad angle for you guys right now. But thankfully you can pull it off. But yeah, you can see camera's overexposing. That is a nice screen, and it is usable from pretty much all the angles that you would need to use it from. So props on that. It is not a touchscreen, of course, with it being like 4.5 inches or something. That's I mean, Pixel 5 for size. That's pretty much, yeah. It's like 4 inches or something. Would have made for a perfect touchscreen, but with the click wheel, I do prefer click wheels, and this is fine. So, do we get a? It looks like the standard, you know, this. Let's see. No. This is different. It's different. It looks like it's the same, like, Marlin style menu settings, but filament detection with the toggle, with the and. Can I set the brightness on this? Does it have a brightness potentiometer? Nope. So I guess we're turning down the exposure on the camera. There we go. So look at that toggle. Wow, so centered. Oh, is that, no, that's the green one is the Apple Star one, right? Read config, I guess that's EEPROM language selection. What do we get? Oh, I thought I was gonna get a menu. Okay, thankfully that's easy to figure out. Yeah, so firmware version 1.2.1. This style of menu, this is still, I've had for my Nintendo DS, I've had a G6 Flash, which was a memory card, a memory card, or a, what is it called? A memory module, basically, that you would put into the Game Boy Advance slot of the Nintendo DS that would allow you to play homebrew games. And this reminds me of that. When was the Nintendo DS, like 15 years ago? Where it's like you have the JPEG text that stays the same, and then you have the like non-anti-aliased yeah, this is fixed spacing font. That same font, I think, has been used in Chinese products since 20 years easily. So no files on the SD card. That's good. The screen is very responsive, so that's good. Set home offsets. Set. That's just beeping. Okay. So auto home returning to 0. Stepper motors are not super quiet. That's alright. Turning to 0, please wait. Z-axis is rather slow. Does that set current location to 000? I don't know. And then you get the... Oh, you just move by... You move by tenths of a millimeter. Okay. Okay. So I guess for leveling, we actually just do it manually. Though... If I move the tool head around by hand, well, I'm gonna have to reset my camera here because I do want to show you guys what's going on. If I move the tool head around by hand, I might end up losing position on the Z-axis. Oh, let's just see. So these are fairly loose. These don't grip down all that well. Oh yeah, you can see if you look at this one from a shallow angle at the bottom, I can't show you, but if you look at this from a shallow angle, you can see the JPEG compression artifacts on the JPEGs they're showing you. Dominica, am I still using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K? That is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. That is a Sony A7S III. That is a Panasonic GH5. And that camera over there, that is a 4K 60 microscope camera that has an HDMI output. So yes, I'm still using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, but I'm also using 3 other cameras right now. I guess I just move this until it looks about right. You can tell it's a Sony by the insanely fast AF. Yeah, it's a Sony, that's why I got it. Because the autofocus on Blackmagic doesn't exist, and the autofocus on the GH5 basically also doesn't exist. And oh yeah, GH5 was also struggling with 8-bit with 8-bit color. Was starting to see some real banding, and Sony of course does 4K 60 with 10-bit color. Which is way overkill for YouTube. Like, don't get me wrong, nobody needs 4K 60 10-bit color for YouTube, but makes me happy. You know, I do color grade every shot, and having a bit of leeway there makes that easier. Let's just do a auto home. I could film stuff differently, but having the option for perfection, like, I guess it's nice. Yeah, go watch Gina. She's also streaming right now. Don't watch me. Watch Gina. Dominica, can you post the link in YouTube in chat to Gina's stream right now? I was gonna home again. Okay, I was gonna home and turn off motors. Animation Creations. I have not looked at the Sony yet. At the new Sony. Is that another blogger cam? Okay, bed looks to be about flat. Not even using a piece of paper, just judging the distance to the bed. And, oh no, that's right. And looking at the air gap. I do have a big softbox, big light shining through here. So I do get a very good impression of how close this is, and this looks about right. And then this. Yeah, that's flat enough. Baby A6400 with built-in UVC. Oh. Okay. Okay, so load some filament, I guess. Reading for PLA. So they still have the always on hot and cooling fan, obviously. Still super annoying. And I do have noise cancellation turned off for the stream, so you are hearing the fan, so. What do we have? Oh, I do have, hold on. What do I have? Where is that? If only I could find it. I was gonna grab some Prushament. I was gonna grab some Prushament Mist Pink, but don't know where I put that. Might be. Oh, there it is. Well. Yeah, so easy to do on modern Marlin, just turn it on above 60 degrees Celsius. Yeah, but the thing is you need an extra MOSFET. And those extra MOSFETs are like 1.2 cents plus whatever logic you need to control that MOSFET. So, you know, another 0.3 cents. Oh, there was some blue filament in there. Another 0.6 cents for the for like a driver transistor. So, you know, it would increase the board price by about like 2.5 cents, and that's, I mean, that's eating into profits, you know. It's already got a, yeah, it's already got its own terminal. It's not like it's wired directly to the power supply or anything. Okay, filament is coming out of the extruder. That's good. Do we have a cooldown option? That's good. That is warm, but it's not. Is this 60 degrees? Doesn't feel like 60 degrees. It's E-mount. Okay, expensive lenses. So it's not a full frame camera, is it? Yeah, the engineering time, APS-C. So you still need full size. Well, I guess there must be E-mount lenses for APS-C, right? Oh, there are, right? The A6400 is E-mount. So let's see. Let's plug in this totally trustworthy SD card and reader into the laptop and see what's on here. Let's see if we get a totally trustworthy slicer with it. NetAC 8GB card. And software. Voxel Maker 1. User manual Cura.zip. So they are including a Mac installer for Cura and a Cura profile. You get G-codes. Let's try out Voxel Maker because Voxel Maker sounds interesting. Joshua, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try my best of even looking professional when it's just in the little corner of the screen. I like problems that he can just solve, that he can like literally spend some time on and then they're solved. Like this studio setup, like yeah, sure, it could use a little bit extra light from that side, but this studio setup is solved. Camera, microphone, light, extra camera, like this, setting all this up. I set this up once, I got all the components for it, and this is now working. I don't think I've changed anything except for shuffle cameras around for a really long while. And this is, for me, this live streaming setup is just, it's solved. It's one problem that I could solve, and that I could solve to a level where I'm happy with it. I think that's the more important bit. Of course, there's always the urge to upgrade and to do stuff better. Like I think I've briefly mentioned, perhaps if I can figure out how to fit it in here, maybe some like XY gantry that can, like a bent XY gantry, a curved XY gantry to be accurate, that can kind of like move the camera. So I would just need one single camera that I can just CNC move to up to the top camera position, move over here to the B camera position. That would be super cool, but I don't know how practical that would be. Yeah. So we have the software installed. Also, by the way, if you're ever thinking about streaming and doing like multi-camera setups, get a Stream Deck. This thing is incredible. It integrates super well into OBS Studio. You can do macros like the entire intro sequence with the timer and the music, and sometimes I have the sponsor spots in there. That's all being handled by the Stream Deck. That's all doing that automation there. Very much worth what they cost. And just having like a physical button that you can hit to switch between scenes, between cameras, doing screen caps. Would you like to download? Yes. iShare3D.com, non-encrypted connection, HTTP connection, iShare3D. What is iShare3D.com? Interesting site that I'm downloading software from. Let me grab the Google Translator and just see what this is. Stream Deck or Stream Deck? What? So, website maintenance and upgrade. This website is being maintained and upgraded. Okay. Xi'an ICP something. That's what I wanted to press. Update.jpg. Modified from the Debian original for Ubuntu. What are you? Who is iShare3D? Just like I said, don't expect much from streams on this channel. I'm just going off on the tangents that I want to go off on. So let's see who this is registered to. Can leave the HTTP in there, right? Hover? What? No, what? Come. Who is? Is it whois.net? Or is it just whois? By the way, Chrome, what is up with that autocomplete? Whois.domain? Why was I thinking of whois.net? Let's leave the HTTP in there. Alibaba Cloud Computing. Okay. I guess this is just Alibaba Cloud Computing. I guess it's like Amazon AWS or something. But that they have iShare3D registered? Huh. Animation Creations, yes, there is a Stream Deck app, whereas as New Zealanders would say, the Stream Deck. It is, however, subscription based, so you have to pay the subscription to use it on your phone, which is, I mean, it's I guess a nice substitute, but being able to reach over and feel where a button is always going to be better than pressing something on a touchscreen. I hate touchscreens in car. Like my Peugeot has like the climate controls on the touchscreen, and I absolutely hate it. So what was I gonna say? This, especially when you're like just quickly reaching over, having physical buttons, yeah, is worth a lot. If you only have like four or six functions, like 2 rows and 2 or 3 buttons in each row, like that's fine to do on a touchscreen, because you're gonna be able to roughly press in that area. But as soon as you have more than that, it does get very tight. And yeah, DIY Stream Decks, those are also an option. And you don't really need this. You don't need the screen as much. Like what this is like Tangent Mania today. What this basically is it's a full size LCD screen, and then these are just transparent buttons, and they have their own mechanism like in the area between the keys, as far as I know. So you're just looking at one big screen, and then it's not individual OLED screens, like that would be crazy. And then it's just individual buttons. But really, you don't need all the text on there. You can just write those on with a marker, and you're still gonna get that same functionality. Honestly, I've not. Yeah, last time I changed these buttons was to add the like little the different zoom levels for top camera, zoom far for the different positions, but you don't change these that often. Of course, yeah, folders are nice if you want to have like an extra level of stuff in there, but if you have enough buttons, you don't need folders. So if you do a DIY solution, that like you don't need a screen. That's a DIY solution is absolutely plausible. Okay, so we downloaded the updated version of Voxel Maker through an unencrypted connection, and we have a zip file, and I guess, oh, this is 1.2. That's quite the upgrade. Do we see if this is signed at all? Digital signatures. So yeah, it is signed by FlashForge 3D Technologies. It was signed on July 13th, so it's not that old. And yeah, there is the. Is there anything on advanced? Yeah. It is a signed installer. And yes, if you're wondering like why FlashForge, Voxelab is FlashForge. It's their like low cost brand Creality competitor for doing 3D printers that are in the 3s. That is what. Oh yeah, you saw the signature there again. Close automatically. It's FlashForge. It's just a sub brand of FlashForge. But since it's signed, like it's fine. Yeah, this laptop is like air gapped. It's a burner laptop that literally only does all the slicing stuff. So there's enough 3D printer software in here that I do not trust this laptop anymore. I do have my print files on here. All my I call it RepPrint. I've had that folder for a long while. Just all the STLs that I export. I'm doing that through Resilio Sync. And that doesn't need any network shares or anything. It's like cloud sync, whatever. One way. Like this can only read. This cannot write to the other computers. Machine type. Aquila X1, X2 Pro. How to guess? Okay, so we do have an Aquila. No, that's it. Okay, that's literally it. Yeah, there's the RepPrint folder. There's all the stuff that I've ever printed, pretty much. I've had this folder since I've been building 3D printers. So obviously there is a lot of a lot of stuff in here. Not sure if I should show you all of the stuff that I've put in here, but apparently there's no tree frog in here. Yeah, that's the one, right? Type flashforge voxelmaker.stl. Oh, it's automatically grabbed all the STLs. Resilient sync does work for the most part, but with larger two-way sync projects, like one-way sync is fine. If you just want to push files from one device to another one, like what would be a large collection of files that are video files, for example, your photo collection. Like, let's say you want to share your photo and home movie collection with the rest of your family, and you want to display that on their, I don't know, picture frames or something. Whatever. You want to share that. That works. You can push stuff from one device to another, but I've always had issues with having two endpoints that have read and write. At some point, something would screw up and it would create duplicates and do all sorts of weird stuff. Like, for that, it's not been reliable for me. Anyways, back to Voxelmaker. So interestingly, untitled.vfp. So this is apparently a. That's not how that window decoration is supposed to work. This is apparently something where you can export your workspace and use it later. I've never used that once in any program that supports it. Prusa Slicer does it. I've never used it. What do we do? View. Okay, so that's just view tool, move. Okay, that moves. Do we get a center tool? Right click doesn't do anything. I'd like to. Oh, did that just center? No. Okay, so I guess that's roughly centered. Rotate. Is there a lay flat? There is no lay flat tool. Scale, we all know how scale works. Cut. Okay, so that's cut in the Z direction, I guess. Supports. Oh. What? Oh. That's pretty cool. And he creates a Unfortunately, you can't really, like, you have to drag them down to the, can you click? No, you have to drag from the supported spot down to the bed, and that doesn't always, like, that's pretty hard to align. Okay. So support tool, that's kind of cool, but kind of janky, because, like, if I want to click, like, down here, there's no way for me to get that onto the bed. Like, if I do that and drag it down here, like, where is it gonna end up? There's one pixel where it's green right there. Yeah, that's like, cool feature. Props for implementing it. But I've got to deduct points for how it's done. Like, I just want to put a support there and I can't. Like, I literally can't reach in there. So, alright, auto supports, what are you doing? Yes. Finished. Okay. I mean, these are SLA type supports, right? This is not the type of support material that you would use for FDM printing in the first place. And yeah, you can see it's kind of, it doesn't really take into consideration the shape of the mod. It's just, hey, there's a spot where we need a support piece, and yeah. It's not exactly how, I mean, look at that. That's not really going to do anything. That's just going to add, it's just going to add a brim to your model down there. Yeah. Don't think we need the support options. Do we get, oh, we also get linear. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now we can use it. Now we can add support points, and it goes to the bed. And there's no contact patch. It's just it's just adding a. Let me see how this slices. Oh. That looks like Skyforge. What are you based on? Area for filament cooling. Enable bridge. Path width, path precision. That like one-to-one supports me. That one-to-one reminds me of Skyforge. Holy crap, that takes me back. What if you hit a no preview? Do we get a preview? Yes, we do get a preview. Okay, so it does. Why does this look so rough? Oh, it's the preview. It's taking like the individual paths and it's okay. So, okay, so it doesn't just fuse the supports with the model, it actually creates an air gap. That's good. That's good. But like, holy preview. What the heck? Okay, let's clear supports. Check the about page. About Voxel Maker. Copyright FlashForge. First release. No windows. Now it's asking me on another screen. We'll install this update at 8:16 in 15 minutes. No! Come on, Windows. Not a good time now. So we're just going to print this with whatever are the, there's just one profile, there's just default settings. 0.2, 0.3 millimeter layer height on the first layer. I like that. I like that it's doing an increased height. Path width. Why is it 1.1 millimeter path precision? That's bridge area threshold. These are odd settings. Wow. So replace that. 50 minutes print time, and I guess it's already saved. You don't need to export it. Oh, what is this? Angle dependent. Yeah, that. Also, this is like you can see how much it lags behind my cursor. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. All right. So we have a tree frog. There's our tree frog, and we're gonna drag that on here. It's on the drive, properly ejected. And theoretically, take this. This looks. I mean, I keep thinking, oh, so an actual C logo. I actually accidentally unboxed another Ender3, but no, it's the Aquila. Basically, we do. Sometimes that button doesn't register. Just now it pressed, but oh, there's no extra question. Hey, do you really want to print this? It's just like, yep, we're printing this. So what do you get for real-time options? Printing speed, nozzle temp, bed temperature, fan speed, Z offset. Oh, you get a Z offset. I like that. So it moves to the 0 position. It just parks there, which is, I guess, good for keeping the Hotend from drooping. One thing I'm noting is this surface on the bed. This does degrade rather quickly. I've scraped the nozzle over it while trying to level the bed, and there's already marks on it. So I'm not sure how long this is gonna last, but yeah. It's the standard, well, the new standard carbon aluminum oxide bed surface. Cura files worked well. Well, I always try to use whatever the manufacturer, like whatever the official solution is. And in this case, I guess the fact that they do have the, what's it called, voxel maker, that suggests to me that that their intended use of this machine is with voxel maker. All right, get some of this stuff cleaned up. What else do we get here? Storage card. You get needle times 1. You get 1 acupuncture needle. So we're poking through the foam. You get a spare nozzle. That's the absolute standard MK10 or whatever nozzle. And 2 cover profiles, and I guess those go up here. This layer looks pretty low, so let's raise that offset by a bit. That looks better. And then, oh, just 1 nose on that profile cover. Yeah, Cura versus Prusa Slicer, like, both are great slicers. Both do a fantastic job of slicing parts. The UI, I mean, I wouldn't say like one has a better UI than the other. It's just whichever one you're comfortable with. I'm okay with both. Like the new Cura is good, old Cura was good, Prusa Slicer is good. They're all fine. And it's printing. It is. I mean, I was gonna say it's pretty quiet, but it's like, it's so. Can you hear that, right? The fan is super annoying, and is reading in at. Okay, 49 decibels with just the fan running, and 52 with the power supply fan kicking in. Meta control, yeah, meta control. I don't think I've ever gotten to use that. Yeah. All right, so that's just gonna be. That's gonna be printed for a while. I guess we could go a bit lower even. Since I'm gonna be hunched down, let me get the microphone down. There we go. Ah. Starting to get somewhere. What do you think about the Idea Maker slicer? Have I used it? I don't think I've ever used it. So, yeah, I've heard it's better than Simplify 3D. That's all I know about it. Simplify 3D, they gave me a license a long time ago. They wrote me up one day and were like, "Hey, would you like to try Simplify 3D? We can provide a license for you." Yada yada yada. You know, the usual. We want to make a review thing. I do have a Simplify 3D license that is licensed to me, but I just never felt like I needed to use it. There's no, I didn't see the benefit. Yeah, sure, the different processes are cool, but yeah. So as soon as Prusa Slicer came out, like that slicing performance was just. I was using Slick3R basically the whole time, And with Prusa Size, I was like, well, I guess there's now a proper project maintainer. And that was the end of that. Polymate 3D, hey, good to see you around. How were you not subscribed to me? The thing is, look, different channel. If you noticed, this is a new old channel. This channel used to be something different. This channel used to be very Tom, where it would just upload time lapses and other stuff that fit nowhere. New channel, different channel. So there's going to be the channel that has like all the casual, off script stuff that I don't want to put on the main channel, because I've unboxed like 5 Ender 3s now, and this will be the 6th one, and I don't see the value in that, but I do need to take it out of the box anyways, because I do want to make a video on it at some point, so like why not just live stream the thing. So yeah, low energy, chill hangouts. Joshua, yes, you would be excused for that because I just created this channel like 2 hours ago. The channel existed. The channel was called Very Tom, but the channel did not have the logo, the channel did not have the name it has now, the channel did not have any 3D printing related content on it. It was just like literally the channel I had sitting on the back burner. So yeah, goal is to have probably at some point all the live streams, maybe the higher profile live streams, when it's like a Prusa unboxing or something, or a Prusa build, maybe those are still going to be on the main channel, but for the most part, it's like random unboxings. I built the Voxelab printer enclosure recently, and that would have been something I could have put on here. That was like a 2-hour build process. I think we're going to have to restart this, yeah. I'm going to have to cancel this. That was like a 2-hour process, like all the stuff that's not getting recorded for a video, but stuff that I'm having to do anyways, basically. You get over here. So we do have that little leggy lifting camera. Yep, we have that little leggy lifting because I did mess with the Z offset, and this is a bit too high. Let's just print again. No, not the Aquila test. No. Tree Frog. Was this the Burp channel? No, Burp channel is still another channel. This was just another channel I had for doing non-3D printing stuff, which I didn't do very often. Missed most of the stream. Well, the stream should have the recording on it. And if it doesn't, just watch the unboxing of the Neptune 2 or the Ender 3v2. Like they're the same stream. Sub number 50, yeah. Yeah, this channel had, I think, 13 or 30 subscribers before the stream, but also I didn't really advertise it anywhere yet. I did make a YouTube post, which actually I should go ahead and delete now because it's already pretty much over. Where do you find? So I guess I go to my channel and I go to community. Yep. So in the YouTube app, that's where I posted. That's where I posted about that. That's the Patreon hangouts that I also post as like social media style posts. And this is going bye-bye. Yeah, I posted about that on Twitter. I posted about that on YouTube. Scott likes the bed lift. Oh yeah, I guess while we're at it, so this is laying down his first layer. It's good. While we're at it, if you guys care about that. So the video about this is already is shot. It's completed. This thing works. Molto bene. Very, very nice solution to a problem that nobody has. So I guess while we have some time to chat, This is an automated belt, well, belt-based bed feeder. The idea was I have, oh, this is a stack of stuff here. The bed on the Voron 2.4 is large, yeah, but I was always doing just single prints, and those prints would take 2 hours to finish, and then I'd have to go back to the printer and clear off the bed and you know, basically pamper the printer after every print. You can do full plates, sure, but when something goes wrong, like, you'd lose the entire plate. So I wanted to have a solution that was just like do one print at a time, as you would do typically for just best print quality, and then somehow have a fresh print. So the what was I gonna say? Do a fresh print. So yeah, there are solutions like the CR30 belt printer that just has the continuous belt, which is useful for doing long prints. But I found it to be a bit too cumbersome to do for like actual like continued prints. You have the limitations of like everything's printed at a 45-degree angle, which limits how your parts can look. And also bed adhesion isn't really that great with that belt. So I wanted real beds, and these are real mag beds. These are 6 individual magnetic beds, energetic beds, same ones that the Voron comes with. They are in the frame, so I can push them, and then this entire platform moves up and down. You can see like the injection molding press or sheet metal press style bushings there. This entire bed platform moves up and down, and as it moves, this bed rests on rails on the side, and it pulls the bed away from yeah, Parkside clamp still in there. It moves the heater and the magnetic sticker sheet on here. It moves it away from the actual print surface and peels it off. And at that point, these are free to move. I don't have it powered up right now, but this thing moves down, and this can just slide over. This gets pushed over here from that side. It pushes in a fresh bed. That pushes in from that side, pushes that over onto the heater. Heater moves back up, that clamps back down, cycle repeats, and so on. So in the end, you just get your parts, your beds ejecting over on this side, you clear them off, you put them back into the hopper, and yeah, it works really well. It works incredibly well. This thing is super rigid, like print quality wise, there is no difference to the standard setup. These clip on very reliably every time. It's really good. Like, you do lose a bit of print height, sure, yeah. You do lose quite a bit of height, but for doing like your normal prints, like this sort of stuff, totally adequate. If you want to print a bunch of 3D benches, like obviously that's what you're going to use your 3D printer for. You can do that. And the important thing is you can print more Voron parts. Like one of the thoughts about this was Voron has the Print It Forward project where you can print parts for future Voron owners, and they do require you to print them on Vorons, which kind of makes sense. And all the parts for the 2.4, for the Voron 2.4, fit on those beds. Like, these are actually FlashForge beds. These are made for the FlashForge Creator Pro or something, or sized for these. These are not by FlashForge. Energetic makes them for all sorts of printers. Basically, MakerBot Replicator. This is MakerBot Replicator size. You can see it is a bit smaller than the original bed, but it's 230 by 150, so decent size. Yeah, most stuff you would want to print fits on there, so very cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it like this. The system works, right? But I do like having a large printer. It's just a question, hey, do I rather have a printer that I can just send stuff to and it's going to do all the maintenance automatically, or do I want a printer that can do large stuff? Like, I still need to decide on that. But yeah, time lapse about the thing working. Actually, I can show you real quick. Just build another Voron. Yeah, that's always the solution. Time lapse of that is gonna go up on Twitter tomorrow. I can maybe show you. Let's see if buffer works for me here. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Look at that, look at that, look at that. So basically, it's printing. You saw that you see it does the bed movement twice. So it snaps onto the bed once, and then it just to get everything aligned. It does the bed coupling move once, and then it does it again just to lay it down in a position that is closer to where it needs to be. So yeah, this absolutely fantastic solution. I like this a lot, and I'm kind of proud of that. This was 7.5 days of work from having the idea of wanting to do something like that, figuring out how to do it, designing all the parts, printing all the parts, doing little adjustments. Like a bit over a week. I think that is pretty fascinating. All printed on the Voron, which obviously made that possible with the super high flow setup. That I think that is pretty cool. Just doing it that fast. Just one G-code file, so you can do, which is, I mean, it's intended for belt printers, but essentially this is technically a belt printer. You can use a Octoprint plugin called, I had it open here. Let me see if it's still in my history. Octo plugins, continuous print it's called. So basically, continuous print, this is, as its name suggests, allows continuous print. So G-code files are first loaded into a queue, and then you start a queue, and then it runs through that queue. And basically, between every print file, you can add a bed swap file, but I just added that to the start G-code. So that you can use with Octoprint, or you can just copy paste G-code files onto each other and just create one long G-code file. So yeah, there are solutions for that. But also, if you don't have all your parts sliced yet that you could copy onto each other or add to a queue, you can leave this. This is network connected anyways, right? I can one-click upload through Prusa Slicer, and as long as the print's finished, I don't have to attend to the printer and do anything to it before I can start the next print. So I don't need to clear off anything. I don't need to clear off any prime lines, any prints, any failed prints, nothing. It just gets ejected out the side. So even when I'm just working on stuff like this project, I was drawing up, and while I was drawing stuff up, I was already printing the first parts that I had finished. So think of something, design it, print it, and while you design the rest of the parts, you can then send them off to the printer basically, and don't have to. For me, it's like 2 flights of stairs up and down, right? And running up and down those stairs does get tiring. It does get old, especially if you're just checking on the printer. Yeah. Cool niche solution. My hope is always maybe somebody picks it up. Maybe some niche manufacturer, some fringe manufacturer picks it up and puts it into a product. That's something that I wish I had the time and capacity to do. Like Andrew Sink and Uncle Jesse, they did the resin labs. Something they probably developed for themselves and saw, hey, this is something we could put into a project. Put it into a project. Repcord with the rep box is just, see a need, develop a project, and sell that. And I wish I had the capacity to put all the stuff that I do to, first of all, to spend the time on actually getting them to a point where it's a viable product. Like, this is basically a prototype that works, but it's built as a prototype. Having the time to really invest in one product, and just getting that to a point where I would feel good selling it, it's like, I wish I could do that, but unfortunately YouTube doesn't really, having to put out a video every, I don't know, week or every 2 weeks, it doesn't really allow me to deep dive into projects. I was talking to to Torbjörn from the hand printer project recently, and he was like, well, you know, I developed this thing, I enjoy developing it, but I can't really, I'm trying to put it into video form, but I can't because it's not interesting. So for me, it's like, hey, do I really spend the time on developing a product that I then want to sell and support in the long run, which is, I think, the bigger hurdle, especially with something where there's like so much stuff to go wrong. Do I want to do that, or do I want to keep on doing YouTube? And for me, it's like, well, I've got you guys watching, you guys want to see my stuff. I've got patrons, I've got sponsors on the videos. Like, YouTube works for me, as in people enjoy the stuff I do, and it works for being a job for me. So I would have to give that up, and I don't think I'm quite ready for that right now. Maybe at some point I can hire someone who can put stuff like this into a product. Also the filament diameter sense, like, yeah, that was, people were like, hey, that's cool, but that didn't really go anywhere because I didn't have the means to put it into a product and to provide it out into the world. Like, yeah. Will it be open source? I'll give you a quick peek of what the print is doing. It's printing, it's a tree frog. Looking good. Will it be open source? I mean, I can share the Fusion file. I can share the start.ng code. I can share the config file for RepRap from it, but it's like, what then? Like, the Fusion file is incredibly messy. There's no... It's not a parametric design in any way. Like, you change one thing at the first feature, everything's gonna break, I promise it. It's literally just, I should have just done, what's it called, the other type of modeling where you don't have feature history. I should have just done that, would have probably been easier. There is no consideration for, like, reproducibility of this thing. It was just designed to be usable for me, to be able for me to put it into a project and to show that it works. This is never intended to be this exact thing. It was never intended to be something that people should, you know, also build. I can share the files if you want to have that, but I don't see much value in that, unfortunately. Yeah, Joe was saying, hey, saw this Korea 3DP show. So that, interesting. I was not aware that you know, somebody had already done that, but I thought this was an original idea. Though, to be fair, like, this is not what I originally wanted to build with this. The Voron only exists because I wanted to do that. I wanted a printer with a static bed. I mean, you can see this wouldn't fare well on a moving bed at all. Not even on a ZX's moving bed. But what was I going to say? Yeah, the Voron exists because of this. Originally, I wanted to do a rotating cylinder with 6 beds on its sides. Turns out, if you have 6 large beds on the side, that cylinder is going to be massive, and if you need space underneath for a print to rotate all the way down, you don't have a lot of print space left, so... Yeah, I wanted to do like a tank drive where the individual beds would be like in tank chains and then get pulled through, but that's kind of hard to do. Then getting the bed to attach and release. I originally had planned to move the beds up and down, and that was quite tough. So right now I just have that conveyor magazine belts. The conveyor system with the magazine on the belt, like that. That works pretty well. Copying designs into a new file, yeah. Yeah. Printer seems to be moving pneumatically. Pretty much. Yeah, the hot and cooling fan is quite loud. As is the part cooling fan. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be like properly releasing that. I'll probably just post a download link. Yeah, where somebody can grab the Fusion file and print off the files and figure it out on your own. Like, the cool thing was, though, setting up the extra, these are, so, the, I guess, This is a geared stepper motor geared Nemo 17 from a Bontic extruder, I think. Moves the ramp that moves the bed up and down, and the belt drive is also just a standard Nemo 17. Those were just A and B axes in RepRap firmware. Like, that's pretty much the reason why I went with RepRap firmware and do it, because I had 9 drivers. I needed 9 drivers for the Svoron, and setting up extra axes is super simple. So yeah, that worked out really well. So let me see. Print is saying we're 18 minutes into the print and we've got 41 minutes left. Slicer said, I think, 50 minutes. Let's see. You always have to save out your G-code file to get a new preview and a new estimate. Yeah, so it's saying 50 minutes. 5 grams. Okay. Let's see, what is in the G-code file? What are they writing in here? Generated by FF Slicer. What is FF Slicer? Flash Forge Finder Slicer. Okay. Yeah, that's a different one. Flash Print 3.0 beta. Okay, that seems to be rather old. G-code wiki data or what? File format? Huh. Interesting. Okay, so we have FF Slicer. Has all the information there. Right extruder, left extruder. So I guess they have a dual extruder setup printer. Just standard stuff. Pre-extruder 0. Raft layer shell. Okay, so commented. What do we get at the end? Nothing. Percent. Oh, it has percent. Where? Nope. Oh, so if we count 100 matches, that's interesting. That's an interesting approach. So they're saying that they've basically got the percent comment in the G-code, and then they're just writing out 100% comments, and every time the printer finds one of those, it's like, well, we've made another percent of the print. You don't get a percent view on the well, you don't get a percent view on the screen. That's hard to see because it's at an odd angle, but there's only a progress bar. It might use the percent for print time and remaining time. Let me see, how can we cut this stream short? Does the Aquila have power fail detection? Let me see. DIY FDM 3D printer. I guess if they're calling it a DIY printer, they can get away with, you know, not providing a good printer. They're saying, oh, you can DIY all the stuff you want. You can add your own extruders and sensors and stuff on it. So let's see, aluminum body, filament auto feeding. What? That's bullshit. What? Filament auto feeding. You guys are seeing what I'm seeing? The enhanced feeding module of the Aquila, little breaking. What? There is like if it says auto feeding, like I would expect, hey, I put in the filament and it pulls it in automatically, like on a Prusa with the filament sensor. Like, there's no sensor on here. Like, it does it mean like you push the button on the LCD and it feeds in filament? Like, that's not auto feeding. It's called an extruder motor. Like, it's literally what the extruder does. It feeds filament. No shaking when printing. Well, okay. No worrying about accidental printer off, power off. Okay. I should have tested vase mode on this, because with the power fail detection on the on the Ender 3v2, and I think the CR10 SE had it, CR6 SE had it as well, where it writes to the SD card every layer of filament that it finishes, every layer of your print that it finishes. Vase mode would throw that off and actually cause it to write to the SD card way too often, and actually cause it to like stop its motion instead of just doing the smooth vase mode print. It would stop at basically every segment and you'd get blobs. So it would be interesting how it does the power fail detection or power fail recovery here. What they're supporting is PLA, ABS. Okay. PTG and Voxelab PLA Pro filament. Check out comparison between and $300 FDM. Oh, could be your right choice between the Ender 3, the Ender 3, the Ender 3, the Ender 3, and not an Ender 3. Which Ender 3 would he get? With our Amazon top 10 printer Voxelab Aquila. Well, it goes built. Well, you can do time lapses on different printer. Other printers. That's an Ender 3v2. Wow, I recognize the printer based on the blurred image. Cool. Amazon rating 4. Well, you all know how how accurate Amazon ratings are. This gets a 4.3. This gets a 4.22. Most PLA? He's saying he can't use all PLA on a 140 to 235. Okay. 0.4, 0.4, print precision, 0.2, a number that means nothing. Hotbed 100, 250, manual, sun stepper drivers, X, Y, X. You're saying these printers don't have X, Y axis tensioners? Resume printing replacement parts. That's an Ender 3, obviously you get replacement parts for it. Why is it different? Ultra level and smooth glass bed. Well, they all have glass beds. Improved nozzle assembly. I'm gonna have to take that apart, but I didn't really see anything that was improved there. Multiple user-friendly designs. Easy to read LCD screen, can confirm. XY axis adjuster, that should be a feature. Feel touch parts hole for auto bed leveling sensor assembly. So they've got some threaded holes, okay. 99 X factory pass rate. No idea what that means, but okay. No missing parts. Can confirm. There were no missing parts. Slicing for quick 3D printing. How is this different from other 3D printers? Customer first response within one something working day. All 3DP, okay. To buy a 3D printer, where's your affiliate link? Michelle Leinefelser, Margie, Brad, okay, yeah. Print stuff. I like, I don't doubt that this is a printer that works, right? It's just, it's a printer that I can only muster the least possible enthusiasm for, because I've seen it so many times already, and it doesn't do anything differently. It's like you're looking at a 2009 Ford Mustang, and it's like, wow, it's a, no, hold on, that's a, no, Ford Mustang would be a bad comparison. You're looking at a, what are they? What are they called? Small Honda vehicles. Picture 5. I guess a Honda Civic or whatever. You look at a 2009 Honda Civic and it's like, well, this is an okay car. You look at the 2010 Honda Civic and you're like, okay. And they keep making the same Honda Civic. It's 2015. They still have the same Honda Civic. Oh yeah, now it has a chrome volume knob. Cool. Now it has a 7-inch screen instead of a 5-inch screen. That's cool, but it's still a Honda Civic. Like, why would you buy a 2015 Honda Civic when you can get the 2009 Honda Civic? And you keep cars a lot longer than you keep a 3D printer like this that breaks after 2 spools, as I've heard from other people. And it's like, yeah, badge engineering. Aigo, that's a Toyota, right? C1, that's Citroen C1, Peugeot 107. Yeah, same car. Same as the Citroen, Peugeot, Opel Corsa, 208, Citroen something. Same car. But even then, it's like they're literally the same car. It's like everyone's making a copy of that same car. Just, it's a fine. Civic is a fine car, right? But like nobody gets excited about a Civic, except if it's like no car or a Civic like that. Then it's fine. Then it's an alright car, and this is an alright printer. What I'm thinking about doing it for a review of this printer is like literally going, hey, like if you were to decide between cheeseburgers, like you've got a McDonald's, Burger King, Jack in the Box, Wendy's cheeseburger, and they're all in front of you, and it's like, well, this cheeseburger is better because it has 10% less sodium in the sauce. You're like, okay, but they're all fucking cheeseburgers. Well, like nobody gets excited for a cheeseburger unless you're a 5-year-old kid who has a, you know, if it's like the only type of food you can get, sure, it's fine. It's nutrition. Well, I guess that's up for discussion, but it's some calories you can get into you, but it's not something you get excited about. I don't want to bash too much on like Ender 3 clones, right? Because people like their Ender 3 clones, and that's fine. People like their Honda Civics, that's fine. But I think at some point everything's been said about them. Oh, Joe's gone. Bye, Joe. What was I gonna look into? Oh yeah, I was gonna try the power fail detection. How many of you are still watching after my rants here? Somebody, okay. Yes, Volker, the thing is, what you're talking about is like burgers from a restaurant, and they're good burgers. But like the cheeseburger, the hamburger you get for $1.50 from McDonald's or Burger King or in the US Wendy's, Jack in the Box, and all those places, like they're all kind of gross, right? Power fail detection. Let's see. Oh, so nice and quiet. So supposedly it has power fail detection. Let's see what it does. How long should we power fail this? Let's see what it does. Note, it has been detected that the task was interrupted due to power failure. Yes or no? Hold on. Yeah, and the screen has been interrupted by connector failure because this is a non-locking screen, and the screen you can kind of like take off. Because I'm just gonna hit the button and assume that that's the yes. I was gonna show you what it said, but unfortunately, so I guess I hit yes. Bit of corruption on the screen, but next time it gets an update, it should be fine again. So it did a home. Golf 7 versus Golf 8. Well, the thing is, between Golf generations, there is a difference. There is a significant upgrade in some cases. But these are literally like, these are the same. So what are we doing? We're waiting to heat up. Okay, so we're at 168 of 200, so the Hotend is heating up again. So it's not doing a Z-axis home, which makes sense because it would possibly crush whatever print you have, but it is doing a XY home. Z, I don't know if that is offset or something, but Z, I can't show you the screen because it's too bright and it's too everything. Ah, perhaps. So it says Z. I don't know if this is offset or current height. It says 0. And we should be at temperature. And it's just ripped the leg off. Seems like it's printing the same layer again. It has ripped the front leg off of the tree frog, you can see that. Also, who does hex infill in 2021? Just noticing that, yeah, it said in the slice it does hex infill. Hex infill is like, it looks cool. I've been using it for a while, but it's like, it's the slowest possible infill you could print because there are so many moves. Oh, look, the leg has recovered. Which infill do I prefer? I prefer the cubic infill or triangles. Both are structurally good. I guess triangles should be a bit stronger even than cubic. But yeah, typically I stick with cubic. I don't do gyroid all that much except for on the Prushas where it's where like everything is tuned in to a point where cubic is the de facto standard and you don't have really, oh, looks like we got some x-axis layer skip, and you don't really have any significant downsides. Cubic versus grid, the point with cubic or triangles versus grid is you get a better shear strength with an infill pattern that has a triangle pattern. So a triangle or a gyro. I mean, gyro is like everything. So when you have, if this is like your part that has been printed up, that has some thickness, and you have either your grid that is just 90-degree boxes essentially, versus triangles, which is triangular, 3 directions, or gyro, which is also cubic, which is essentially also triangles, but in an evolving 3D pattern. this sort of shear, so like that shear action, the triangles and cubic infill should be more resistant against that versus a grid. I guess, yeah, grid. Grid infill would not be able to resist that all that much. It would only be the top and front layers that provide some shear strength, but the infill does not. So wherever you can use triangular patterns, use those. So, the power failure recovery didn't work all that much. Like, yeah, it knocked over the leg, and it had a bit of an x-axis shift. So, yeah. Prusa live news. Prusa streaming right now? But there it is from the bottom. That doesn't look too bad. There's no z-axis wobble that I can see on this simple print. Layers are nicely stacked. That's good. Looks slightly under extruded. Which is something you would expect with, it looks slightly under extruded on the legs, but it doesn't look under extruded on the infill. There is your detail shot. Yeah, red is kind of hard to film. I thought the Prusa Live was on Fridays. Okay. That looks good. Layers look good. Layers look nicely stacked. Like, look at that. That does look very nice. The bottom here, there is some inconsistency on the chest area, but not too bad. Not too bad. Print quality, it's kind of expected. Like, print quality on these machines should be good. Like, there's not... If it's bad, that is something to point out, but if it's good, that is actually the de facto expectation on these machines now. So yeah, print quality good, printer couple design flaws that are avoidable. It's not the highest quality printer, like the extruder is still plastic and brass and the brass gear. The Hotend is still the standard worst possible Hotend, I think, that is on the market right now. It's fine. It's fine. It is exactly what I expected. It's exactly what you all expected. It's okay. But like, is it better than an Ender 3v2? Is it better than a Neptune 2? Is it better than the CR6 SE? Like, no, they're the same. It's an okay first printer. It's, you know, if you need 3D printer, here is 3D printer. It's fine. It's like, it's fine. That's as much as I can get out of me. It's okay. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Recommendations for further streaming right now. I don't know if Gina is still live. Go ahead, watch Gina if she's around still, or of course Prusa Live. I guess that's happening right now. If you're watching the recording, then watching the recordings, and those streams are all over as well. So thanks all for watching. Get subscribed. I don't care if you subscribe to this channel. This is literally just an opportunity to stream stuff I wouldn't stream otherwise. But thanks for being here. Thanks for keeping me company, and I will see you all on the main channel on Friday, where we got this thing. All right, bye.